This week brings us a brand new Doctor Who adventure in the form of Rogue, from writers Kate Herron and Briony Redman. The episode features parties, weddings, bounty hunters, and a spot of murder on the dance floor. I know, right? What's not to get excited about? But Dr. Ruby land at a party in 1813 hosted by the mysterious Duchess. However, party guests are being murdered and there's something very sinister afoot here. Can the Doctor and Ruby stop everything before it's too late? Of course they can. We're 2 episodes away from the final. Frankly, they're not alone. The enigmatic bounty hunter Rogue, played by the special guest star Jonathan Groff, is on the hunt and about to change the Doctor's life forever. Preview clips have shown Rogue and the Doctor having a very interesting dynamic, so I was really excited to see how this plays out through the whole episode. With the whole episode seemingly named after him, let's see what Rogue as the character sort of brings to the Who universe, and it is good. As a quick warning, full spoilers in this review for Doctor Who Rogue, you've been warned. Greetings everyone, I'm Jack and welcome to Tardis Central. If you want to keep up to date on the latest Doctor Who news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Tardis Central. You can also follow us on social media for daily updates on the Doctor Who universe. As always, please answer your thoughts in the comment section below, because if you're talking about Doctor Who, then we want to hear about it. The episode opens at the Duchess party in 1813. In terms of production design, I thought the episode looked absolutely gorgeous. Doctor and Ruby looked like they were having fun on the dance floor, and as a result, so was I as a viewer. While the music was largely nothing too special here, packing the floor full of professional dancers to fill out the scene was a genius move. It's a touch that really makes the set come alive a bit more. And this doesn't last for too long though. Ruby is soon pulled away by the Duchess to mingle at the party and find a potential suitor. She introduced him to Lord Barton, played by Paul Foreman, who by this point is a costume being worn by the bird aliens. They're wandering the party, killing people and wearing them as costumes. In this way, they're not too dissimilar from Slitheen, although the Cholder are hellbent on world domination, it seems. Tonight, this party, then on to London, the monarchy and the war cabinet. It's difficult to take something so over the top so seriously, but it was kind of fun. Now, the Doctor picks up on some trace of some sort of anachronistic technology and finds a mysterious Rogue perched over the balcony. He's using this as a vantage point, looking over the whole party. Just suspicious enough of the Doctor to go and introduce himself. This is where the preview clip comes in. Their conversation is filled with a bit of romantic tension, both at least a little interest in the other. However, it was a little drowned out by the orchestral rendition of Bad Guy by Billie Eilish. Yes, I picked up on it. While well made, it was a bit of an anachronistic and overpowered the conversation, making it hard to move on. The Doctor and Rogue make for quite the team, with a lot of tension between them at the start. They both think that the other is the one killing people. Rogue actually almost kills the Doctor, reading him as a shapeshifter, just like the Cholder. Of course, the Doctor's not going to die this episode. He used all the tricks up his sleeve, from psychic paper to using his sonic screwdriver to blast Kylie Minogue as a song. While he's clearly desperate to save his own life, it's some very obvious flirting going on here as well, and it works. As a final note on the section on Rogue's ship, I'm sure we'll all remember the day that the Morbius Doctors were canonised in the Timeless Children. Given they were also intended as a pre-Hartnell Doctors, it wasn't the end of the world. However, the inclusion of Richard E. Grant among the faces of the Doctor is another thing entirely. Scream of Shulker was always intended to star an alternate 9th Doctor, so where exactly does it fit in the timeline now? As something that's likely never going to be mentioned or expanded on? Maybe. It's confusing and muddled nod to basically now is discontinuity. I don't know, this section's really confusing. We will need to talk about it a bit more. Still, another Doctor is kind of cool. Yeah, I've never watched the original, so I don't know what to comment on it. Have you watched the original thing with Richard Grant? I like Richard Grant, so maybe I have to go and watch it. By the rest of the episode, him and the Doctor make for a great pair. The two stars have such great chemistry together, it's clear that he's really shaking up the Doctor's life. The Doctor even offers Rogue a place in the Tardis, which is possibly the coolest lighting situation yet. Something I found both very warm and intimate. They clearly want to spend a lot more time together. He is the highlight of this episode, and easily one of the highlights of the season for me. If we do not get more Jonathan Groff, I will riot. Russell T Davies, not that you'll be watching this, but come on, please. Ruby's death at the hands of Lady Beckett was something I didn't buy for a second. Although seeing Ruby get to pretend to be the evil person was fun, there are shots of Ruby throwing books in self-defense shown in the trailers. So it's very obvious what had really happened. While it didn't last for too long, it did end up causing the episode's climax. Again, we get to see an angry and darker side to Gatwa's Doctor, as he believes his companion to be dead. Outside of the fact that they find it a fun climax for their little games, I'm not sure what the Cholder wants and why they want to hold a wedding. There's no point in them marrying, it doesn't help them achieve their goals, especially if one of the people being married is Ruby. someone that they understand is some kind of time travel from the future. She definitely had no useful connections in 1813 to help them on their way to world domination, though it did seem that they were kind of wanting to get to London and then the king, so I guess it was a bit of a clue. That being said, the scene with the vicar was hilarious. You know what they say, if you can't get the vicar to marry you, assimilate the vicar. I'm not sure that's a saying. It was a great send-up for the wedding, and it was a real standout joke in the episode. However, there was something interesting throughout the episode. Everyone's favourite cameo of the week, Susan Twist, was physically absent for the episode. She only appears as a portrait hung on the wall. Not sure what that has to do with her keeping an eye on the Doctor and Ruby, but it does make me slightly more intrigued about what will be revealed next week. And yes, we did see the preview, we'll be doing a video on it. The sacrifice Rogue makes to save Ruby is touching. However, I wonder if it would have been possible to get Ruby off the platform without someone taking her place. Regardless, after a heartwarming and sudden kiss between the Doctor and Rogue, he swats with Ruby and presses the button himself. His last words to the Doctor are, "Find me," a hopeful sign that we'll see him again someday. The Doctor's still keeping an eye out and has probably added Rogue's ring to his jewellery collection. I'd love for it to become a mainstay of his costume from here on out, and maybe we'll have to look at filming pictures to see if that's the case. The relationship between the Doctor and Rogue turning into a romance wasn't exactly surprising. You could cut the tension right from the start when they first met with a knife. It's very nice to see some positive queer relationships, especially ones with Doctors involved in. I think back to when Ross T. Davies called the LGBT representation in Disney Plus Loki Freeball. Well, here's the season's executive producer and director making this. It's absolutely glorious, it's a positive leap in the right direction. Finally, the end credits contained a touching credit of William Russell, who played Ian Chesterton between 1963 and 1965. He sadly passed away earlier this week at the age of 99. It was nice to see the show play tribute to him, although it would have been nice if his tribute was also included in the international release. He was a big part of the show, so his tribute only being available within the UK presents a growing access problem for the international audiences. Speaking of which, Tales of the Tardis had the exact same problem, although it's now affected by the main show and not just a spin-off. Rogue was an episode I've been looking forward to since it was announced. The return of Indira Varma as Duchess, getting a turn at a proper Doctor Who villain, plus the superstar presence of Jonathan Groff as Rogue, who I'm a massive fan of. Rogue somewhere between River Song and Captain Jack, an infinitely charming love interest for our Doctor, and we need to see more. And the episode did leave me wanting more of him, and I hope he comes back sooner rather than later. Groff was perhaps one of the most memorable supporting guest stars the show's had in such a long time. It would be a shame if he weren't in more episodes. However, between now and Hopeful Return, the Doctor's got much bigger problems on his hands. Next week, the season final begins, well, the penultimate episode. Something powerful has been waiting. Some horrifying secrets from Christmas are set to be revealed. And remember, there's always a twist at the end. So what did you think of Rogue? Personally, I really enjoyed this episode, and it's got me really hyped up for next week's penultimate episode. However, I really hope we do get Jonathan Groff back again in the future. If you want to keep up to date on all the latest Doctor Who news, lore and more, then hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Tardis Central. You can also follow us on social media for daily updates on the Doctor Who universe. For now, I've been Jack, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.